In February of 1978, 5 young men mysteriously vanished in the breathtaking mountains of Northern California. They weren't criminals, drifters, or runaways, just a close-knit group of friends from Yuba City, buzzing with excitement as they headed to catch a basketball game. After that night, they simply never made it back home, and their disappearance sent shock waves through the community. The media dubbed them the Yuba County Five, but honestly, their story is so much deeper than just a headline, you know? Locals have whispered another name for this chilling tale: America's Dyatlov Pass. It's eerie how some mysteries linger, right? Here's how it all began. On February 24, 1978, 5 men, Ted Weiher, 32, Jack Madruga, 30, Bill Sterling, 29, Jack Hoot, 24, and Gary Mathias, 25, piled into Jack's turquoise and white 1969 Mercury Montego. They were excited. Their favorite basketball team, UC Davis, was playing that night, and after the game, they planned to stop for snacks, then head home. All 5 had mild intellectual disabilities or mental health challenges, but they were high-functioning, responsible, and close-knit. They all lived at home with their families, and their parents said they were as predictable as clockwork. The last confirmed sighting was around 10 p.m. after the game. A store clerk later said she saw them laughing, buying snacks and sodas. Then, at some point on the drive back, something went wrong. The next morning, when none of them came home, their families panicked. They knew this wasn't normal. None of them would ever just disappear. 2 days later, their car was found, abandoned in the Plumas National Forest, about 70 miles from their homes, deep in the mountains. The spot made no sense. It was 2,000 feet up a snow-covered road, far off their route. The car was stuck in the snow, but honestly, it wasn't in too bad of shape. Investigators pointed out that those 5 guys could very easily pushed it free if they really wanted to. The gas tank was a quarter full, the keys were missing, and there was absolutely no sign of struggle. It was just left there, like they'd stepped out for a moment. Inside, you could see the wrappers from the snacks they'd bought, empty candy bar wrappers, milk cartons, and soda cans, all tossed about. But outside, nothing. No footprints, no clues about where they might have headed next. Weeks rolled by, and the snow just kept piling up, making it feel like the forest was holding its breath, right? Searches on snowmobiles combed through the area for months, but the whole place felt eerily silent, like it was guarding its secrets closely. Then, when the thaw finally came, the nightmare began to unfold. In June 1978, a small group of motorcyclists, just out enjoying the ride, stumbled upon a Forest Service trailer about 20 miles from where the car had been abandoned. It was locked, cold, and absolutely still. Inside was Ted Weiher. He was lying on a bed, all wrapped up in 8 sheets, like he was trying to keep warm, you know? His beard had grown several inches, hinting that he'd somehow survived for nearly 2 months after they disappeared. The trailer was stocked with food, canned rations, enough to feed all 5 guys for weeks. There was even a propane tank that could have provided heat, but it was never turned on. Can you believe that? Ted had starved and frozen to death in a place that could have saved him. Police found his shoes missing, possibly taken by someone else, and a table covered in empty ration cans, all neatly opened, one by one, like he was just waiting for something to happen. It's heartbreaking, really? Outside, scattered in the woods, searches found more. Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling were found together about 11 miles from the car, partially eaten by animals. Jack Hoot's remains were discovered 2 miles from the trailer. Only Gary Mathias was never found. Gary was different from the others. A U.S. Army veteran diagnosed with schizophrenia, but under treatment and doing well. He was known to occasionally wander if disoriented, but his shoes were found inside the trailer near Ted's body, suggesting he'd been there, alive at least for a while. Police pieced together a rough sequence. The group had driven into the mountains for reasons no one understood. The car got stuck. They left it, walking into the cold wilderness. Somehow, they found the trailer, a life-saving shelter, but instead of using the supplies, they seemed too afraid or confused to do anything but wait. One theory says they were disoriented, lost in the dark, and panicked. Another says they were led there. Gary's family insists he knew that area. His father had taken him hunting nearby years earlier. But if that's true, why didn't he lead them out? Why walk deeper into nowhere? And here's where it gets truly strange. Around the same time the men disappeared, a witness named Joseph Shones came forward. He said that on the same night, he'd been driving that same road when his car got stuck in the snow. While trying to dig it out, he had a mild heart attack and sat inside his vehicle to recover. Around midnight, he saw two sets of headlights, a group of people, and a pickup truck. He shouted for help. The lights went out. A few hours later, he saw flashlights outside his window, the beam of one, then several figures standing nearby. He called again. No one answered. They just stood there in the snow, then turned and disappeared into the trees. When morning came, Shones managed to get help and later discovered it had been the same night the Yuba County Five vanished. So, who were the people he saw? The five friends or someone else? Some think they picked up a hitchhiker, someone who convinced them to take a detour into the mountains. Others think Gary had a psychotic episode and panicked the group into fleeing into the woods. But even that doesn't explain the trailer. The fact that they found shelter, then froze to death surrounded by food and fuel, is almost impossible to rationalize. Investigators said it looked as though they were waiting for someone to come, someone they believed was coming to save them. When the case was finally closed, the coroner listed the deaths as probable exposure, but the Yuba County Sheriff never bought it. "There's something missing here," he said, "something we're not seeing." To this day, Gary Mathias remains a ghost in the woods, never to be found. His clothes, shoes, and a few personal items were left behind in that trailer, but outside, not a single trace. Some folks think he might have wandered deeper into the forest, lost in the vastness. Others believe he somehow made it out, seeking help or a way back home. Every few years, you hear stories from hikers about spotting flashes of turquoise, the exact color of that old Montego, deep in the forest where no car should ever be. It's like the car is still out there, haunting the trees, you know? And then there are these super eerie tales about a shadowy figure moving through the trees, barefoot, looking a bit disheveled, and just watching before slipping back into the darkness. It's the kind of thing that sends chills right down your spine. You know, can you believe it? Nearly half a century has passed, and still, no one truly knows what happened that night. Five friends set out for a basketball game, buzzing with excitement and plans for a fun evening. They should have been home by midnight, sharing laughs and snacks, just like they always did. Instead, four of them tragically froze to death, waiting for something or someone in the icy grip of the Yuba County mountains. And Gary, he vanished without a trace, leaving everyone wondering what really went down that fateful night. It's haunting, isn't it? The mystery just lingers like a shadow in the woods.